Joining us in studio for a little bit, as long as he'd like to hang around, is Shreveport Mayor Adrian Perkins. Good to have you back again.
Thank you for having me, Robert. Good to see you guys.
Always a pleasure, sir. So it's you got about 4 or 5 days to go.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not to get way off track to start, but this is kind of why I'm not against early voting per se, but with all the statistics that are made available about early voting, I guess this many Democrats, this many Republicans, this many independents, this many of and the demographic breakdown, do you kind of agree with me that early voting's not that bad, but I think they should just keep all the info to themselves till later. You see my point?
Well, honestly, I think the ultimate point is democracy, right? We just want people to go out and vote. So making voting more available to people, because anything can happen on election day. Anything can happen. It can rain, it can snow, people can get called into work. So we want people to vote. And I think it's okay if you got to make that, if you make that data available, because it's an even playing field. Every opponent has the data and they can analyze it the way that they want it. And, it's up to the amount of resources you've raised and your plan of attack on how successful you can be.
Big issue on the ballot on Saturday is the 3 propositions for Absolutely. The $186 million bond issue.
Yes, and I would argue the governor's races as well. All of these are conditions for our city that we need to be paying very, very close attention to. So, yeah, I'm not prioritizing anything. We need to focus on it all.
Well, let's focus on the bond issue for today. What are you thinking? What is your feel of the community with just a few days to go?
I feel good about it. I actually feel really good about it. We have, I'm speaking to people that are doing canvassing in various areas, and we're getting positive feedback on top of the dozen plus town halls that I've had. We've gone into some neighborhoods that have been critical of the bond, but in conversations with them before and after the meeting, they said, look, this bond isn't perfect. I want to make sure that I know everything about it, but I'm supporting it. And that's been the key takeaway from neighborhoods.
I've been real cynical, real critical, and
that's your job, Aaron. I understand.
People will tell you I'm not anti-bond. I want people to know that. I purposely did not early vote because I wanted to wait till today.
Good.
I want you to convince me that $186 million is a good number. That all of these projects are necessities, because that I have a question about, and then I have a zillion other questions.
Yeah, so for your fiscal concerns, if that's the concern, we are going to spend more money as a city trying to maintain a lot of the antiquated infrastructure and facilities we have if this bond doesn't pass. So you're going to be maintaining something old and not as good and not as not as much quality from a fiscal concern. Also, there is no new tax as well. I want to say that. Go ahead.
I want you to get back to the tax thing.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I know. We talked about this last time.
I feel some rain coming.
I just want everybody to hear what you said. That it will, in your opinion, cost more to maintain. The 35-year-old fire trucks,
the police station that's crumbling.
The black mold is hard to keep up.
Absolutely.
But what you're saying is that we will spend as much or more money maintaining than we would if the bond issue passes.
Our maintenance costs will be higher if the bond does not pass and if it passes. And I'll give you examples. The police station, we're going to continue to have to go in and do patchwork for plumbing and various other things. The convention center, we're going to continue to have to do emergency repairs like we had to do earlier this year. That was tens of thousands of dollars because of the water damage. Our infrastructure, our water pipes, we're going to continue to have to do emergency patchwork because our water pipes in some areas are over 100 years old.
Is more
so
than
more maintenance
$186 million in repairs.
Absolutely. Yes.
My other concern is the lack of specificity with regard to road projects, water and sewer improvements, things that were I'm looking at the presentation now. Some of it's there, but the vast majority of it is not. Yeah. How will we know what roads will be fixed with this money, and why didn't we get more detail?
Yeah, so we have software that runs an analysis on our road quality throughout the city. And what we're going to do, unlike in the past where we would just give every council member X amount of dollars for them to say, oh, I want this road, we're going to run that software, but you still have to go out and evaluate the road to make sure the software is keeping in touch. I would say with the ambiguity, don't look at it like, oh, this is an opportunity for them to get over on us. Look at it as an opportunity for community feedback as well. And also the lack of specificity with SPAR. We are going to go into communities. We're going to talk about the roads that we're going to repair and get feedback from those communities as well. So we can't go into that level of detail because it would cost a lot of money to just send people out to evaluate roads today. And let's just say because we're breaking this bond up in 3 components, we don't get to that neighborhood for another year and a half. What if the road condition isn't as bad as we thought and another road has leapfrogged it? Then we've told people we're going to fix a road and another road is more priority.
I interrupted you just a second
no, go
ago, and you had said it's not a new tax.
Yes.
And I'm just going to let
Aaron, he's like messing with you, right? That's his
I know.
thing.
I've got a lot of concerns about that because in my family budget, if I'm going to use car note, which is what I always use. My car note's going away in December.
Yeah.
Guess where that $500 monthly car note is going to go now? It's going to go into my vacation budget, or it's going to go into a fund for a new car.
Yeah.
You're telling me that this tax that was to go away at the end of this year, and I was now going to be able to keep that money. You're now increasing it for another 20 years.
And Aaron, I would give you a more exact analogy. Let's just say that $500 that you were saying was rolling off from the car to put towards something else. Imagine you lose it in this case. You don't get to put it towards anything else. This is an opportunity for us to renew and use that dollar towards something else. If you want to stick to the car analogy, it's to get a new car or to upgrade your car to where you won't have to repair it or get a new one for another 10 to 20 years.
But I want to drive the car I have and save that $500 a month to use for something else.
But you won't be saving that $500 a month. That's what I'm saying. That money will go by the wayside. Those the millage on our property taxes will go away, and we won't see anything from it.
Okay. The other thing that I get, and I'm gonna this may be considered a low blow. I don't whatever. How can I trust you? You came out of the gate and you awarded an insurance contract to a buddy. Did business with your buddies. That's what the everybody in town is saying. I'm just the one that's going to spout it directly to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you.
And how do we get beyond that? Because the trust issue it's a problem for some of us.
Yeah, so I want to just go towards the word buddy, right?
Okay.
And that's the way the narrative, a lot of people spun the narrative, but you got to keep in mind, I wanted minority participation, and I'm still pursuing minority participation to our fair share goals, which is 25%. It was only one African-American, one minority in town that had a municipal insurance license. This is not a big town. I happen to know that person, just like I happen to know a lot of the other professionals in the city. So that was a way for me to make sure that we had fair participation in our city. It wasn't just, oh, you're a buddy, you can do this. This person is qualified, and we have to do that in government. I know a lot of people that the city does.
But it's going to cost us more. I mean, that was the thing.
No, but it cost us more because of the market, not because this person was incompetent or anything. But I'll go further than that, right? Just even if you're a little mixed on that, we've been extremely prudent with the funds that we have. We're delivering the city's first balanced budget that we've had in like a decade. Right, we don't have the luxury to dip into the reserves to make sure our budget is right, and we've already put the first draft out to council. So we have a genuine balanced budget. The chief technology officer that I appointed has saved the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. The networking that I've done with the Bloomberg Foundation, JP Morgan, is bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars to the city in assets. So we've done extremely well financially with the city's money, and we will continue to do so.